Welcome back to the Deep Dive. Today, we're looking at testimony from, well, a pretty unlikely source. The front lines of the gig economy.
Right.
We're not digging into spreadsheets or market trends. We're diving into a really detailed and deeply disturbing account from a food delivery driver. Their side hustle, it uncovered something weird, a recurring anomaly that just broke all the normal rules.
Exactly. Our mission here is to move past the drama of the story itself and really do a cold analysis.
Okay.
We're unpacking what looks like a systemic failure. I mean, it's a recurring glitch in this whole logistical matrix that honestly, it seems like a calculated trap.
A trap.
We need to distill the vulnerabilities in the app's reward system and, the psychological things that led a totally rational person to take an order that everyone knew was cursed.
Well, when you think about the life of a delivery driver, most of it's just routine.
Sure.
It's a fight against the clock against gas prices, and the weird requests are usually just harmless.
Like what?
The note that says, if the front door opens by itself, just leave the food and walk away. Do not acknowledge her.
Right, okay.
The guy who wanted his pizza left in the shadow of the mailbox.
Right.
You just do it, get paid, and move on.
And that shared experience, that constant flow of mundane absurdity, it actually fosters a real community.
Yeah.
The driver talks about this unofficial group chat, which is this vital network they use to vent.
About traffic, bad tips.
Exactly. But crucially, that chat is also a kind of collective intelligence map of danger. They swap stories about loose dogs, fake addresses, but there are certain places, certain pins on the map that when you mention them, everyone just goes quiet.
Okay, so let's get into that. The singular source of the silence, this mystery address.
Yeah.
This wasn't just a bad spot. It was like legendary, a recurring problem. Every time the driver logged on late at night, there it was.
Always highlighted.
Always highlighted, promising what they called a cursed loot drop. A normal $10 fee becomes $30, $30 becomes $50. It's a massive calculated incentive.
And that phrase, calculated incentive, that's key. This wasn't some glitch in the system. It was a lure. We have to look at the immediate warning signs. The driver asks about it in the chat, right? And the reply from this guy, Craig, is immediate.
Yeah, just don't. Seriously.
Don't, seriously. And Craig was a reliable guy, a known quantity. And then shortly after that, he just vanishes, quits delivery work completely.
Wow.
That's a total breakdown of the social contract between these workers.
That really should have been the end of it. But financial urgency is a powerful thing.
It is.
The driver admits that at this point, the side hustle was the main gig.
Right.
Tank was half empty, rent's due, they're rationing food.
And this is where rational risk assessment it fails.
Yeah.
The logic becomes, well, if Craig did it and lived to tell the tale, then so can I. They just rationalized away this collective dread of hundreds of other drivers.
For some immediate cash.
For immediate relief. It speaks to this normalization of deviance. When the stress is high enough, the desperation, it makes an insane risk suddenly look like a viable option.
And the contamination, let's call it, it starts the second they accept that first triple pay order. The order itself was totally normal. Fries, double cheeseburger. But when the driver gets to the restaurant, the staff's reaction?
Yeah.
It was chilling.
Yes. The line cook looks up and asks, did someone finally take it?
And the cashier just mutters, be safe, man.
So even the people preparing the food, who are completely disconnected from the actual delivery, they knew this address was a persistent, inherent danger.
It's an open secret.
An open secret that everyone's ignoring except the drivers themselves.
So now the driver is on the road heading for the cursed pin, and the geography itself starts to work against them. This place felt tacked onto the edge of the city as an afterthought.
It's designed for isolation. It's not a normal neighborhood. And notice the infrastructure just collapses.
Right. Clean asphalt gives way to gravel, then just cracked concrete.
And the signs of civilization, they're decaying. Faded street signs, mailboxes tilted and rusting. One is just dangling by a single screw. It creates this sort of psychological barrier.
Like the rules of the city don't apply anymore.
Exactly.
And then right on cue, the technology fails. GPS drops all routing. You're left with just a blinking blue dot and that cold digital command. You've arrived.
No house number, no street view, just an abstract point in the dark.
The house itself just amplifies the dread. It's narrow, peeling siding, no numbers anywhere.
But the driver gives two really key atmospheric details here. First, the porch light, blinking in a lazy, irregular pattern,
Right.
which suggests some kind of electrical anomaly. And second, the wind chimes clinging together even though the air was completely still.
That's so creepy.
It's a crucial detail. It suggests a localized environmental factor, a pocket of stillness that's operating outside the normal laws of airflow.
But despite all of that, the first delivery goes off without a hitch.
Right.
The instructions were blunt. Leave on the porch, do not knock, do not wait for acknowledgement.
So the driver complies.
Makes the drop, gets back in the car, and the payment comes through clean. They were rewarded for their compliance.
And that reward, that's the genius of the trap.
Yeah.
The driver navigated the danger, confirmed the risk was maybe overstated, and the pay was real. They drove a few blocks, parked, and immediately the app pings.
The exact same address. Triple pay again.
The exact same address.
And the descent into this loop. It was instant. They hesitated for maybe a minute, but that clean $50 in their bank, it made them think they'd cracked the code.
Right, nothing bad happened.
Nothing bad happened. So they accept again. They're convinced they've struck gold with some eccentric shut-in.
This is a classic sunk cost fallacy. They'd already faced the danger once and survived. So rejecting the huge payout now would, in a way, negate the risk they already took.
And the instructions start to change.
They evolve. They get more and more paranoid with each order.
They change the drop-off from the front door to the back.
And the back door description is bizarre. Unpainted, no handle, just a latch on the inside. Akin to something from an old cellar.
Then came the other requirements. Do not ring doorbell. Do not make eye contact. And then use gloves. Say nothing.
That increasing control through the instructions. It's a form of psychological conditioning.
Yeah.
It suggests that whatever is operating the account was testing boundaries, demanding greater and greater isolation. But the real turning point, the moment the driver's perspective shifted, was when they realized the food was never actually taken inside.
Yes, this is where it stops being about money. The driver counted 11 bags stacked on the porch.
Still sealed.
Still sealed, some soggy, all orders they had personally dropped off. This realization that the food wasn't sustenance, it was a lure. It just completely changed their motivation.
The driver's logic shifted from, I need money, to, I need to check on a possible tragedy.
Exactly. They're thinking corpse, maybe an eccentric hoarder, a medical emergency.
And that desire to help, to check on someone who might be in need, that's the final predictable mechanism of the trap.
So on the next trip, after placing the bag, the driver breaks the rules, knocks 3 times, shouts, "Food delivery."
Nothing.
No answer. So they force the unlatched door open.
And the narrative emphasizes the speed of the counterattack here. The door opens with a painful groan.
Right.
And the second the driver is inside, the door closes. Instantly. Silently. Followed by the sound of the deadbolt. A low mechanical clunk.
Total isolation. No bars on the phone, no way out. The atmosphere inside was just raw.
Air, deafening silence.
And the smell. Faintly of ammonia, but layered over something like meat left out too long in a warm room.
That suggests decay, but also some kind of cleaning agent. And the structure of the house confirms this isn't a normal dwelling.
The carpet was matted down in weird patches, yellowed walls.
But that detail about the ceiling. Circular holes dotted the entire surface.
Yeah, what is that?
It raises a huge question. Is it ventilation? Monitoring ports. It suggests a controlled environment designed for observation or maybe circulation of whatever made that smell.
Then came the first sighting. While calling out, the driver hears raspy breathing and catches a flicker of movement, a flash of pale skin sliding out of sight around the corner, moving on all fours.
So the driver knows instantly that whatever is in there with them is not operating by human rules.
And then they see it, the full thing, in the kitchen.
Crouched low, half in shadow, chalk-white skin stretched tight over this long, rail-thin frame.
And the anatomy is all wrong.
All wrong. The limbs are too long for its torso and bowed, appearing to have too many joints. It suggests a form that's adapted for moving in confined spaces, but not on 2 feet.
And the face. No nose, no eyes. Just this sunken thing with a slack, wet mouth hung wide open as if it had been caught mid-scream.
And its movement. Slow, deliberate. It was inching forward with awful calm, dragging its body across the tile.
With a sound like wet towels sliding through broken glass. The calmness of it is maybe the most terrifying part.
Absolutely. The driver's escape was pure fight or flight. They ram the window with their shoulder, but it just cracks. It holds.
And the creature's getting closer.
So the driver fights back, kicks it in the chest, and notes the feeling was soft, almost spongy.
Spongy.
Which suggests a lack of bone density, maybe, or musculature you'd expect in a human. The only option left was to use all their adrenaline and throw their entire body through the cracked glass.
Use a brutal exit. Shards of glass, severe cuts, blood all over the steering wheel driving home. And then, bandaged up, shaking, they call the police. But they only report a break-in, maybe a medical need. They couldn't explain what they really saw.
And this brings us to the most vital, systemic piece of the whole puzzle. The official response.
The officer sounds annoyed.
Annoyed, yeah. He confirms the resident is just an elderly woman lived alone, which reinforces the standard, boring explanation. But then he says, crucially, that the house has been called in for things for months now, yet the police never find anything.
So they know something is wrong?
They know, but they can't prove it, so the system defaults to the easiest explanation. And then the driver gets warned about filing a false report. The system denies the anomaly's existence, and in doing so, it ensures it can continue to operate.
You would think after a near-death experience, that's it. You delete the app, you never look back.
You would think.
But the last detail just confirms how perfectly engineered this all is. The very next morning, the driver opens the app. And there it is.
The same address.
The same address.
Oh.
Triple pay order. Just sitting there waiting to be picked up.
Yeah.
The cycle is unbroken.
We started this deep dive looking at a high-paying order, and we ended with a non-human entity in a house that the local authorities are basically professionally conditioned to ignore. The whole story reveals a perfect systemic trap. It exploits the app, which prioritizes fulfilled orders over driver safety.
And it exploits the financial desperation of the people working.
Oh, exactly.
So what does this terrifying story tell us about the world we live in? It highlights how easily these disturbing realities can just persist unchallenged, hidden in plain sight as just an open order on an app.
Because the technological and bureaucratic systems we've built, they're designed to normalize the weirdest things as long as the transactions are clean.
Wow.
Which leaves us with a really provocative thought for you to consider. If the food is never moved and the orders never stop and the payments always go through, then this anomaly has found a way to use our gig economy, not just as a tool to lure people,
But as part of its own operational cycle.
as an indispensable part. So is the app just hosting this cycle, or is it functionally the mechanism that keeps the creature perpetually fed and supplied with unsuspecting visitors?